following show is a paid program.
Hey, thank you so much for being here. We have Mr. Wake Campbell, National Recording Smooth Jazz Saxophonist. Hey, Mr. Wake Campbell.
How you doing, Cam?
Man, I've seen a lot of your videos. I've seen a lot of your shows, even virtual. Man, at night, you blow us away.
My brother, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Coming from you means a lot. I know you deal with a lot of talented folk. I've seen quite a few of your videos as well, man. So
Absolutely.
that means a lot.
I'm telling you, saxophonist, songwriter, producer. I was getting tired after I started reading. I said, wow. Let's start
Brother,
off.
having fun with it.
Well, good. Let's start off of how we got. I understand it's high school, huh? Jazz.
Well, I started in elementary school, actually, sixth grade,
Okay.
DC Youth Orchestra program. So I started out playing flute.
Uh-huh.
My parents told me if I stay with the flute, I did well. It costs less, of course. So if I did well with the flute, they let me play saxophone, which costs a little bit more. So
Uh-huh.
I played the hell out of that flute. I'm telling you, I did everything I could until I could get to that saxophone because I really wanted to play sax. That was my favorite instrument. I liked it.
Wow. What made you want to start and get into the sax itself? A lot of people say, the way the sax is, it's a great tool. I mean, it looks great.
It just looked like the coolest instrument. I know most people would say guitar, and I started out playing guitar, but I wasn't serious at the time.
Hmm.
I was young, and I don't know. I just thought the saxophone was the coolest instrument, so that's the direction that I gravitated towards.
Wow. And jazz. Why jazz?
Oh, because it's jazz. Because it's jazz. I was DC Youth Orchestra program. Of course, it's DC Youth Orchestra program. It's uh, classical based music, and I think every musician should start out be classically trained. So I love the saxophone, and I loved what I was doing at the DC Youth Orchestra program. But a friend of mine, actually one of the guys who really impressed me the most is when I was younger. His name was Benjamin Sands.
Hmm.
My A friend of mine and his mom were sitting in the audience, and we were watching Benny play the song "Feelings," and that was it, my brother. I saw him. His mother also went nuts over that song.
Right.
So she was a beautiful lady, and so that helped as well. Uh,
So you saw how the ladies responded to the sax, I see.
when I saw how she responded to Benny playing sax, and she was telling us that we need to be able to play like that one day,
Uh-huh.
that was it for me. I was already in love with the saxophone, and then just seeing that, it was done. It was done. But I love the saxophone, and he was playing what I guess could be considered jazz,
Hmm.
and so I also started to have an appreciation for jazz at that time. Prior to that, all I did was classical music. I mean, that's all that was taught there for the most part, concert there.
Wow. Many parents have children in school, and of course, they have them in the band or something else. But then they see some talent that comes along. What would you talk to the parents about? Because many times they say, oh, well, we know you're in music, we know you're in this, but make sure you go to school and get this degree.
I would agree with the parents. How's that? I would agree with the parents. It it's about being passionate about it. It ain't for everybody.
Yeah.
I am not gonna lie to you. It's not for everybody. And when I was in school, and we're we're jumping around as far as that's concerned. But when I was in high school, I had some guys that were phenomenal musicians. I mean, incredible musicians
Right.
who chose other paths.
Right.
And I'm thinking to myself, wow, if this guy is going to go in a different direction as opposed to exploring what he could do in music, as talented as he is. What in the world am I? I mean, they did something different than what I was doing, but I still thought that they were very talented,
Hmm.
and I was surprised. And I thought that they were more talented to me in many areas. They were writers and they were arrangers and they could sing, they could play piano, they
Hmm.
played the hell out of the instruments. I mean, these guys were phenomenal. There were a few of them, and my specialty at that point in time was jazz.
Wow.
But when these guys went in another direction, I decided, hey, listen, um, that was a scary moment. But
Hmm.
to answer your question, yes, I would agree with the parents. You have to have passion for it.
Right.
That passion has to sustain you throughout your life,
Hmm.
as if you're going to stay with it. You have to love it and not be able to imagine yourself without it. If that's not the case, then no, it's not for you. I mean, you can dream and
Hmm.
you can want to do a thing and think that you're great at it, but you have to know.
Yeah.
I can go on and on and on about that, but I agree with the mothers and the fathers that say do something else,
Yeah.
push them in another direction. If that person has the passion for it, there is nothing that the parents can do to stop them. So, and that's the person that's going to continue. So you can don't have to worry about it. Most kids are going to go in another direction eventually anyway. You
Right.
can tell them and try to encourage them to go do something else, and they eventually will because they're not going to have the passion.
Yeah.
Most people can't deal with the rejection. They
Hmm.
can't deal with you may want to ask another question because I can go on and on and on and on about that one.
You're too funny. I was reading your journey and I want everybody to know it. Shout out to Howard University and the Army. So let's talk about both of those stages in your life.
Uh, well, Howard was that was college, so everything that goes along with being in college,
Right.
we can talk about that.
And just the
I
music
had
part of it, the music side of
the
it.
music part, the music part of it. Howard's fantastic.
Hmm.
Uh, I was in the I had a lot of stories I could tell about that. I was in what's considered the B band as far as jazz was concerned,
Yeah.
and there was an A band. And I was one of those guys who loved to play, um, loved the sound of the saxophone.
Right.
So I was playing first chair at the time in the B band, and I loved to make the horns sing. That was my
Hmm.
thing. I used to really get a kick out of um, that beautiful sound that you can get, especially in the upper register. I used to love that, where the alto sax is singing above all the other instruments. When those parts came up, that was my thing,
Hmm.
and it made me stand out
Yeah.
at the time, and so I got a lot of accolades for that, and I was on the path to be in the what's considered well the A band,
Hmm.
and it was going well. But I got the opportunity to go to Europe with Howard University a couple years in, and I jumped on that opportunity.
Hmm.
So I ended up in Switzerland, St. Gallen, Switzerland,
Hmm.
for 6, 7 months or so, and then Paris for a month, and then eventually I ended up in Bern, Switzerland for a year or so. So that was all as a result of having gone to Howard University.
Right.
So I had an amazing time. A lot of what I learned uh, musically, as far as theory and so on and so forth, and as far as in a lot of respects, was as a result of what I learned at McKinley Tech and in the DC Doctoral program.
Hmm.
So there was a lot of things that I may have picked up from Howard University as well. But just being around some really talented musicians makes all the difference in the world. And the guys there was there's a brother named Wallace Roney, who was like my idol back in the day. He was a trumpet player. A
Hmm.
brother named Billy Phillips, who was another trumpet player. And these guys are fantastic. Wallace went on to become one of the most amazing trumpet players to ever play the horn.
Hmm.
He Worked with a lot of the jazz greats, Herbie Hancock. He studied Miles Davis. I mean, he was replaced a lot of guys. Replaced Miles Davis in a lot of respects, as far as in the groups that Miles would have played in. But Wallace was incredible. There was a brother named Marshall Keys, who was another one of my idols back in the day, who I aspired to be like. Between Wallace and Marshall Keys, and there were a few other sax players and trumpet players and keyboard players. Jerry Allen, who was later became Wallace Roney's wife. She was a phenomenal keyboardist, and she was well received later on in life. Anyway, man, again, I could go on and on about every
You're
question you
fine.
asked
You're
me.
fine. It's not
I'm
just the
sorry
questions.
about that.
We're just talking. We're talking. Most people know music and business go together, right? But there's 10% music and 90% business. We fail many times at the business side. We know the music, we are creative, we know the craft. But let's talk to some people about the business side and what things they need to have, you know? Representation being one. A lot of times we don't do our representation, or we don't read or something like that. And we end up losing so much money or something, compensation on royalties or something, because we just don't understand it.
Well, that's very true. Uh, you need to be comfortable with all aspects of music. Um, you absolutely have to be comfortable with business, but you have to know how to write. You have to know how to arrange and mix and master your music. You have to have some general idea of uh, what it takes,
Right.
and make certain that you're getting quality for your dollars. You have to have agents. You have to have managers. Uh, Someone told me once, and I guess I'm trying to answer your question, but I'm going a roundabout way. Told me once that I was looking to get on a label, and I was going after all the top smooth jazz labels. And the brother told me, I'm not going to take anybody on who hasn't already made it, who isn't already a star, so to speak. And I'm thinking to myself, well, how do I become a star if in fact, I uh, don't get with a record label and you guys
Right.
don't do all the work?
Uh-huh.
Later on, I realized that, yeah, you have to do all the things that it takes in order to get out there and have your own audience and uh, be successful before people will pay attention to you.
That's true.
So you're going to have to do that first. You're going to have to do the work, and that goes back to what we were saying earlier. The parents don't have to worry about those kids, because once they get a little taste of what it takes in order to be successful,
Right.
they're not going to want to do it. It's like working out. I mean, you're going to have to stick with it. You're going to have to put the effort in if you want to look like the guys and the covers of the magazines and so on and so forth. You're going to have to put the work in. And so once the kids get a little taste of that, they're not going to want to do it,
No. No.
and they're going to go on and do whatever it is the parents wanted them to do. The same thing with music or anything else for that matter. Until you find a thing that you're really passionate about. When it comes to the business end of it, you're going to have to read the books, and today you got the internet. Look at the YouTube tutorials. There are all kinds of people out there that will tell you what it is you need to do, but you're going to have to do the work. You're going to have to put the time in.
And invest in
Today,
yourself. You're going to have to invest in
pardon me.
yourself. You're going to have to
You've
invest in
got to you've
yourself.
got to invest in yourself. You got to invest in yourself. Without doing that, you're not going to reach those goals you're setting for yourself.
Absolutely. What I love about you, as well as everything that you've been doing, you still reach out to the people on a consistent basis. Every week, I see you just in your house, in your area, and just actually singing to the people. You really connect with your fans.
Well, well. Thank you. I hope so. Uh, you know what? It goes back to again what I was saying. You got to love it. And
Yeah.
I love what I do. A lot of guys have stopped doing the shows,
Right.
and I don't have any problem with that. It's up to the individual. Uh, a lot of guys never started. A lot of guys said, "You're going to pay me and get order to get me to play," and I understand that also.
Mm-hmm.
But and I'm not saying that they don't love what they do. I am absolutely certain many of them do. But I really enjoy it and playing for the guys and playing for uh, my fans, my friends, my family, just playing in general. I need it. I gotta do it. So it doesn't
Right.
matter whether I'm making a dime. There's sometimes when I just have to play.
Right.
So if I'm playing every week and I stop, I'm gonna miss that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna miss all that goes along with it. I have to get a set list together. I have to practice. I have to pick songs out. I have to find tracks and so on and so. All that goes along with it is precious. It's priceless to me. So that's what is important. And when I start to get back out there, and I'm playing here and there now as well, but when I start to get back out there
Mm-hmm.
on a regular basis nationally, all that I'm doing right now is going to make all the difference in the world. I need it. I need it. Without doing what I'm doing right now, every week, which is what I would have been doing anyway, preparing for
Right.
shows and practicing,
Mm-hmm.
learning material, and uh, the only thing that I don't get to do right now that I'd really like to do more of is write.
Right.
But I love doing the show every week, and I don't plan to stop. As I said a couple of weeks ago when I was speaking to the camera, I plan to continue doing it even after I'm out there and playing regularly again.
Absolutely. The impact of COVID, and we mentioned that just a minute ago about a lot of people stopped, but you didn't stop. You kept going and you kept doing a lot of things that you were doing before during COVID, and really during the time that you were playing or have been playing all this time, we as fans needed it because we're sitting in the house. We don't have the opportunity to go out. We still want the entertainment, and you definitely provided that.
Well, thank you so much. And uh, initially, that was the case. Everybody really needed. But the more comfortable I got with it, my brother, I need you guys probably more than you need me
Mm-hmm.
because I started to, like I said, rely on that to make me to keep me motivated. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I look forward to it. Now, don't get me wrong. Those guys who have stopped, it ain't it's not easy putting a set list together. It's not easy doing new songs and
Mm-hmm.
every week or trying to do new songs every week. It's not easy not having a sound person do all the work that needs to be done in advance,
Right.
missing things here and there. It is not it's not easy. I had
Mm-hmm.
to learn how to do a live stream, go through that struggle.
Right.
Um, um, it takes a little effort,
Mm-hmm.
but once you, so I understand why some people might not want to do that every week. It takes a little effort, but back again to what I was saying, and those parents don't have anything to worry about.
I think
You've
the
got to
other
love
thing,
it,
yeah, I
and
think the other thing is that a lot of the people were saying that because they don't have that interaction of actual an audience, it's hard for them to do it in a room with nobody being there.
you know, I don't know when, but I remember once I was with a band somewhere, and nobody showed up.
Yeah.
Nobody showed up. And we played like we were on stage at I don't know, a concert somewhere. It's one of our best performances. Not a soul in the crowd,
Right.
and it was again, my brother. We loved what we were doing, and we loved playing with each other. We worked to get this show squared away,
Right.
and we played like there was no tomorrow. And I enjoy it. I couldn't care less what's going on in the crowd. You want a crowd to be there,
Right.
but I love it. So every chance I get to play, and if I put a set together that I really, really like, I want to play those songs. I mean, I want to take those solos. I
Right.
want to enjoy every note. There's got to be a point, and I know today it's more. My manager's big on that. Sophisticated Lady
Yes.
Productions, and I want to
Veronica.
thank her and thank uh, Oscar Magar for all the work that they do, and they are incredible.
Yes.
Uh, and she pushes me, but
Veronica.
oh yes, she does, my brother. And yes, the crew does, and everybody else. They all push and do their part, and all the promoters. I want to thank all the promoters out there that have helped me. There's a crew. There's a team of guys that come together and do this and make this happen. They get me on. They get me on your show. I
Right.
think, and people like you.
Yeah.
Without people like you, we couldn't do it. We couldn't do it what we do. But it's entertainment.
It
So
is.
you have got to entertain. I am not. Hopefully, my performance is a little entertaining, but I'm not as into entertaining as the next guy, and then I am more so than others. There's got to be a level of entertainment, but I love the music. I love the music, and I want to focus on the music. And there's some people who are not focused on the music at all. They're simply focused on the entertainment, the pyrotechnics behind them, the dancing, and all the things that go along with entertaining a crowd. That's what the focus is. My focus is on the music. I want to get lost in the music. And once I'm lost in the music, nothing else matters. So I don't see the crowd. I'm not thinking about the crowd at that point in time. It's all about me and my love for the music. And I'm hoping that uh, uh, when the crowd sees that, they appreciate the fact that I am lost and they get to share in that performance. So that's from my perspective. That's how I see it. So I don't need a crowd. I can play in front of zero people, and if people show up, then that's great. I saw a brother in Vegas, and he was playing what I consider yakety yak sax, and he was doing he was entertaining. He was very entertaining, and he had hundreds. You've probably been to Vegas, and you've probably been
Yes.
to Fremont Street, and you've probably seen him because he's there. He's there a lot. He's been there for years. He drives around in a van with his picture on it. The brother is phenomenal in what he does or at what he does, and the crowd seem to love him. I mean, Fremont Street is wild. I love Fremont Street as well as the strip in general.
Sounds
But
good.
this
Let's
guy
let's
gets a
do this
huge
real quick,
crowd.
Wake. Wake, we're gonna do
Sure,
one thing. We're gonna take a break
sure.
and we'll be right back. And I want to hear that story. We'll be right back with the Cam Hill Show.
We'll be right back to the Cam Hill Show after these messages. The Cam Hill Show. If you'd like to advertise your business or become a sponsor, contact the Cam Hill Show at gmail.com.
Move up at Ron Carter Cadillac. Drive the new 2021 Cadillac XT4 Luxury Collection for only $319 a month. The new 2021 Cadillac XT5 Luxury Collection for only $399 a month, both for 39 months lease with just $1 down. Or purchase either and enjoy 0.9% APR for 72 months plus bonus cash. Gulf Freeway, just 2 minutes south of the Beltway.
Shop smarter when you shop Ron Carter. RonCarterCadillac.com.
Who, where, when? When it comes to COVID vaccines, Texans need reliable information. That's because despite the number of shots available, millions of Texans remain unvaccinated. AARP is working to protect Texans 50 plus by giving you the facts and the latest information about the vaccine at aarp.org/txvaccine. To schedule your shot, call 833-832-7067.
My prenatal promise is to make sure my baby is safe and healthy because I know it is possible to acquire syphilis, HIV, or other STDs without knowing it. Getting tested is my very first chance to protect my baby. Doctors are required to give expectant mothers 3 separate tests for syphilis. If you're pregnant, ask your doctor if you're being tested properly for syphilis and other STDs. Congenital syphilis can lead to a miscarriage, stillbirth, or an infant death. Don't risk your baby's health. To find out more, visit myprenatalpromise.com.
And now back to the Cam Hill Show.
Hey, family, thanks so much for coming back. We're talking to Mr. Wade Campbell. Hello, Mr. Campbell. Hey, songwriter, producer. Let's talk about that. We have a lot of people that are online that have been asking about the songwriting and producing and also how to make sure they're getting credits for it.
Again, there are quite a few tutorials online where you're going to have to do the work and check those out.
Yeah.
You can go to BMI and you can go to ASCAP and register. You're going to have to use Sound Exchange. When it comes time to promote your music, you're going to have to use music city promoters, music promoters. You're going to have to do all the things that everybody else has done in order to be successful. Without doing that, you're not gonna accomplish your goals. You can have all the rights and everything for your music, but if you don't follow up with all the other things that are required in order for you to be successful, it really doesn't matter. And then you got to make certain that your music is halfway decent. Before you put the money into a CD, you need to check with some people and make certain you've got something of value to work with.
Right.
Yeah, get your music copyrighted. Go to the Library of Congress. Go to their website. I don't know it's probably $65 to $75 a day. Do all your CDs at once, or all your albums, or all your music at once, or you can do one song. It doesn't matter. But you need to figure out a formula that works to you. But then you need to do all the things that everybody else has done already, and all of that has been laid out for you online. Just go take a look. But without doing that, you're wasting your time. But again, you want to make certain that you have something to work with. Talk to people, not just people that who love you and care about you. Talk to people who you don't know and find out if you got something to work with, and then go get it copyrighted. Get it copyrighted anyway.
Right.
But when it comes to investing money in it, make sure that you have something to work with.
I'm so glad you mentioned that because of the fact that a lot of people now, many people are unemployed. And due to COVID, about 40 million plus people were unemployed immediately because, companies were closing, they were, shutting down and things like that. But people still had those dreams that maybe they wanted to go into music, maybe they wanted to be a producer, songwriter, and they had the opportunity at this time because they were at home. They were able to, like you said, look on the internet, research, find out what you want to do.
Did I lose you with that?
Yeah, you're here. I'm here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I'm starting to lose you. Wasn't sure it was a question. That time was precious. I mean, I got a lot out of the time myself, and I'm still getting a lot out of that time. That time is very, very valuable. Again, tutorials and books and just putting the time in on your craft make all the difference in the world. You don't get to become Cam Hill without really working at it.
Yeah.
I'm sure the schooling and books and the team you have behind you, all of them have their expertise and specialties. But you're good at what you do because you've worked at it. You put the time in. You believe in it. You believe in yourself, and you've had others who have helped you along the way.
Right.
As long as you're working towards your goals, and you believe in yourself, and you envision the end, then you're going to be successful. And you put the work in. If you put the work in,
Right.
but you got to love it. You got to be passionate about it, whatever it is you're doing, and all day the successful that you're looking for will probably follow if you follow through uh, with all the things that you should be doing in order to accomplish that end goal.
Well, the other thing too, and I know you've probably experienced it too, it hasn't always been the financial thing, monetary. I'm sure you've had to sit in on playing for gigs that maybe you didn't get the payment that you thought you would, at the time. You guys had to split it amongst each other as a band, the funding or something like that. But you also got the experience.
That experience itself,
Yes.
You learn from it.
Yes.
And yes, of course, I've gone through that. There are many things that give you reason to pause and say, no, this isn't the right thing for me. But it doesn't matter what you're doing; that's going to happen.
Right.
The people who love it and are passionate about it are going to continue because you can fall back on that love and that appreciation for it. It doesn't matter what you're doing. You're not always going to get what you want at all times. You could be working in an office somewhere, and you think that you're worth more than what you're being paid. And you get a raise, you think you're worth more than what you've gotten.
Right.
So it doesn't matter. But there have been more than a few occasions where things did not work out perfectly. That didn't take away from the fact how much I loved it. But I worked on those situations. I dealt with those situations and moved on. I learned from those situations. So that's going to happen. That's going to continue to happen because there are people out there who are thinking more about being successful themselves. That's why I'm fortunate to have the managers and the manager and the promoters that I work with, and the guys who are trying to help. They help each other out.
Right.
They seem to love and appreciate each other for what they do, and they work hard. And people who work hard want to work with each other, and that's the other thing. If you're working hard and you're doing all the right things, other people out there who are working hard and doing the right things as well are going to gravitate towards you. So it's going to happen. Just you have to stick with it. If again you are passionate about it, people will see it and they will flock towards you.
Absolutely. Unity and collaboration is what we do too. That's a big thing that we have to focus on. Unity and collaboration, coming together,
Absolutely.
trying to work together. Each one has their own gift. We each have our own gift.
Absolutely. We need to teach that. We need to promote that. And I thank you for saying that. We need to do that more than we do it now. We need to celebrate each other more,
Right.
and work with each other more. It has got to talk about how people who appreciate the same things and are doing well tend to want to collaborate together and work together and support each other and push each other. We need to reach down and pull some people up as well. So we need to do all of that, and then talk about other people beyond ourselves. And while I'm there, you got quite a few straight ahead musicians out there who are I won't say the better. Smooth jazz, straight ahead jazz is the reason smooth jazz exists, and I love straight ahead jazz. I love Charlie Parker. I love John Coltrane. I love Sonny Stitt. I could go on the trumpet players, Clifford Brown and Lee Morgan, and Art Tate. I mean, I love straight ahead jazz. Those guys are doing the work. Those are the guys who are really doing the playing and learning the instrument and mastering it and are playing. I love smooth jazz. Grover Washington. There's nobody. I don't care straight ahead anything else. Nobody who was more passionate when he played than Grover Washington,
Yeah.
in my opinion. In my
Yes.
opinion, that brother, I'd watch him play it, and I want him to slow down and just take it easy. But with that, oh really, brother? I heard him play Carter Brand here in the D.C. area, and he played so much I thought he was going to have a heart attack. I mean,
Right.
why would anybody want to play that much? There's a
Right.
DVD in where he was in New Jersey doing a show, and he's playing the song "Let It Flow" at the end of his show. You need to check that out. At the end of his show, it's he only did like 2 or 3 DVDs, and I think it's in New Jersey, Atlantic City, I should say. But he played so much on that song. I mean, I was blown away, and the band was so lost in the music. I don't know what was going on there. I'm not going to speculate, but everybody in that band went somewhere else, including Rover.
Yes.
They were not on this planet, playing. They were somewhere else playing. Trust me.
Wow.
But it's one of the most amazing performances I've ever seen, and that entire DVD is incredible. But that last song was again, they went somewhere else. Anyway, short of that, the Straight Ahead guys are doing a phenomenal job today, and they've done a phenomenal job in the past.
But they
A
haven't
lot of the
gotten their
smooth jazz
accolades.
musicians that you see today,
They haven't gotten their accolades. A lot of them, a
they
lot
have
of
not
people
gotten their
don't.
accolades
They
at
have
all.
not
They haven't got,
Yes.
and it's because smooth jazz has been so successful, and that's not a bad thing. I want to thank Kenny G. I want to thank Grover Washington. I want to thank George Benson. All the stars, Boney James, Brian Culberson, all the guys out there who, and I'm not trying to forget anybody, but all the guys who have gotten us to where we are today.
Right.
Appreciate those brothers. Same thing goes to the Michael Jacksons of the world, who
Right.
got people into the music areas of the stores. And while they're there, maybe they will pick up someone else's CD, or maybe they'll even pick up a jazz CD or classical CD, what have you. Those guys are deserve praise. But the straight ahead guys, I'm telling you, there's some talented musicians out there who are doing the thing. And any kid that's out there who wants to do what they've seen me do, I would tell them to check. Number one, learn how to play the instrument. You need to be classically trained. Number two, check out the straight ahead guys. Once you learn how to play the instrument, if you want to do what I'm doing, that's the path you need to take. That's the path. There are no shortcuts. That's the path you need to take.
Wow.
A lot of guys are going out there and trying to play like Boney James by studying Boney James. Boney James, that ain't it. That ain't it. Trying to play piano by studying Brian Culberson, that ain't it. That is not it. All right.
You laid it out there. You told them exactly what to do. Hey, you have a great CD out. The first time we met, where did that come from? That particular song.
That first time we, you know what?
Where did that come
I'm not. I'll be honest with you. I'm not. There's no. Someone asked me that recently. There are no stories behind. In most cases, there are no stories behind my songs. There are a few.
Oh, okay.
Well, there's stories, but I've written songs. I've written projects for other people, for women, and I'm right. I didn't think about the lyrics or anything. Nothing came to mind. I sat down and I worked on it, and I tried to get this to rhyme with this and this melody to grow with this lyric, and so on and so forth. It wasn't a storybook type of thing where I had this happen in my life and I wrote about this and I had this happen in my life. That wasn't the case. That's never been my formula. Like I said, once or twice, maybe 3-4 times, I've written songs where something happened and I had a flood of emotion, and I put it down on paper, and the lyrics and the melodies and everything came to me in a weekend. But I'm not that guy. I wish I was that prolific, like Stevie Wonder and some others. But no, brother, it could take me a month or two to put a song together. But I've done songs where I'm writing lyrics and the music and producing it and so on and so forth. And then I've done, of course, my own music where I'm just writing instrumentals. and there are no lyrics. So there are some times when that happens, like I said, but for the most part, I'll take a melody and I'll work on a melody. Then I'll come back the next day and I'll work on a bass line or a drum part, and then I'll come back the next day. I'll change something, and then I'll come back the next day, and then a month later, I'll have a song. So it's not. And then after everything is done, all the songs are written, and I have to go back and then play on the songs myself and play the parts, and then take a solo. I have to work that out also. So after I've written a song, we're talking about another month or two before I'm able to actually finish the song,
Right.
because of everything else that goes along with it. But that's my process. There are guys who can write songs in a day,
Yeah.
or in a half an hour for that matter. And my hats off to them. And I'm getting faster at it myself, but it's a process for me. It's not like I say this. Like I said, this happened, and I'm inspired to write this song. It doesn't work out that way with me all the time.
I'm so glad you spoke to people about Europe, and that you were younger, and that you went to Europe, and you stayed a little bit, a while in Europe. For other people just like ourselves that look like us, that we need to know to travel, to open our minds, to get out more.
Well, you mentioned you mentioned that earlier. You asked that question earlier, and I didn't touch on that. I touched on Howard University. I was in Europe, and I was there for probably about a year, better than a year and a half, if not 2 years, because I stayed a summer in St. Gallen, Switzerland, before I started up in Bern, Switzerland. I was in Bern, Switzerland for a year, and so I was probably there for about 2 years, close to 2 years, in Switzerland and in Germany. I ended up in Kaiserslautern, Germany, doing the show Sweet Charity. I went over there with Howard University to do Raisin in the Sun, and I was in a pit orchestra. The drama department went over as well, and it was an incredible experience. The things we saw, the cities we saw. I mean, Paris. We lived. If I opened my blinds in the morning and looked out the window, I was looking at the Eiffel Tower.
Wow.
They took care of us. I mean, they really treated us like kings and queens. We were well taken care of. There was nobody staying in that building other than us and Japanese businessmen. It was amazing. I think it's the original Eiffel Tower. It's black. I didn't know what it was. I said that looked like the Eiffel Tower, but it was within walking distance of where we stayed. We cashed our checks on the Champs-Élysées. We were kids, didn't appreciate it as much. We thought we'd be in Paris for the rest of our lives, but we did so well in Switzerland that we thought that once we got to Paris, we'd also do well. But we were college kids, and there were a few guys from Broadway with us. Sandra Phillips was, I think, one of the originals. I don't know what role she played in Raisin in the Sun, but she was in the show as well. But when we got to Paris, it's Paris. It's like going to New York. There were plenty more options for people than there were in Switzerland. So we lasted for about a month. The theater was a beautiful theater, and we filled out the bottom row, but it had like 4 or 5 tiers above that, or the bottom section was filled, and the second level was probably filled. But we had those 3 or 4 tiers above that needed to be filled as well,
Right.
and that just didn't happen.
Right.
So we lasted about a month, and I went on to Germany, Kaiserslautern, Germany, and did I think it was Sweet Charity, another show. And I was in the pit orchestra again. After that ended, I joined the Army, and that's really what I wanted to get at.
Okay, let's do this. We'll take a break because I want to hear that part about the Army. It's so pivotal. Everybody needs to hear that. The Cam Hill Show. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back to the Cam Hill Show after these messages. The Cam Hill Show. If you'd like to advertise your business or become a sponsor, contact the Cam Hill Show at gmail.com.
Move up at Ron Carter Cadillac. Drive the new 2021 Cadillac XT4 Luxury Collection for only $319 a month. The new 2021 Cadillac XT5 Luxury Collection for only $399 a month, both for 39 months lease with just $1 down. Or purchase either and enjoy 0.9% APR for 72 months plus bonus cash. Gulf Freeway, just 2 minutes south of the Beltway.
Shop smarter when you shop Ron Carter. RonCarterCadillac.com.
Who, where, when? When it comes to COVID vaccines, Texans need reliable information. That's because despite the number of shots available, millions of Texans remain unvaccinated. AARP is working to protect Texans 50 plus by giving you the facts and the latest information about the vaccine at aarp.org/txvaccine. To schedule your shot, call 833-832-7067.
My prenatal promise is to make sure my baby is safe and healthy because I know it is possible to acquire syphilis, HIV, or other STDs without knowing it. Getting tested is my very first chance to protect my baby. Doctors are required to give expectant mothers 3 separate tests for syphilis. If you're pregnant, ask your doctor if you're being tested properly for syphilis and other STDs. Congenital syphilis can lead to a miscarriage, stillbirth, or an infant death. Don't risk your baby's health. To find out more, visit myprenatalpromise.com.
And now back to the Cam Hill Show.
Hey, we're back with Wake. Wake, let's talk about the Army again. Let's pick up right there. I really want people to hear this part.
Yeah, I auditioned for the Army, one of the Army bands while I was in Kaiserslautern, Germany, and I knew that my time there was coming up. And actually what happened was Ronald Reagan was in office and it was time for, he was seriously talking about the draft. Mm-hmm. So I said, well, hell, if I'm going to go in, I'm going to go in as a musician. So I signed up. And eventually the draft never happened. But I said, well, this is still not a bad idea. And I get a chance to go back to Europe. And so that's exactly what happened. I went to basic training. And along the way, I heard that Grover Washington had been in an Army band and had actually been in the Army band based at the base where I did my basic training. So I felt it was an omen. It was good. It was what I was meant to do. And I ended up back in Germany. I was in Bad Kreuznach, Germany, and I had a ball there. I mean, I was in a band and playing music, getting paid for it. And I left my time in Bad Kreuznach ended. It was an 8th ID, and I went to next stop was Fort Ord, California. So I went to Europe, and I went to California, and you really couldn't beat that. Mm-hmm. I was in Fort Ord, which was just outside Monterey, and Monterey was absolutely beautiful, an incredible area. I used to sit in the jazz clubs in San Francisco and stop through Santa Cruz. Northern California was spectacular. So I had a good time. The music part was fine. Everything was great. Eventually, I got out, but because I thought I was going to become Michael Jackson. With my music, because I was starting to write at that point in time.
Right.
So I got it out and I assumed that I could do better. But what I want to say about that is another option for musicians. Mm-hmm. You can find out if in fact you want to be you want to do it for a living, you can join a military band. And they have some incredible bands out there. You're paid to play music all day long. That's what you're doing. That's what you're doing. And they also have special bands in the DC area and in some other areas. You have special bands in Europe, in some amazing cities, and around the world and around the country as well. But these special bands have the best musicians. You have to, in a lot of cases, be college graduates or play on a level that would be equivalent to. So those bands are playing for the president and playing for dignitaries and playing the special events around the country that the average person wouldn't get to play for, and the average military band wouldn't get to play for. They're playing at jazz festivals. And some of those guys are just phenomenal. Some of the jazz players in those bands, one brother, Ted Baker, on saxophonist, is one of my favorite saxophonists. If I'm going to mention Ted Baker, I'm going to mention Chad LB, and who's out of New York, and Kumon Fowler, all great players and teachers. But Ted Baker is from this area, and he's just phenomenal. I mean, I could mention all my friends who are teaching, but I'll mention those three. Again, straight ahead guys, but phenomenal players, phenomenal people. They're doing the thing, and there are a lot of guys out there like that need to be checked. We need to check out. But back to the military, I would strongly suggest it, but know that there are special bands out there. And guys, listen, you get in, they're going to give you all the best horns, the best instruments, the best of everything. And I think twice about it. You're not going to saxophone players. You're not going to have to buy reeds. You're not going to have to buy mouthpieces. Your horns will stay in the case. You can't beat it. It doesn't matter what instrument you play. They're going to find the best instrument for you and give it to you.
Well, I'm so glad you brought that
I don't know
up.
what more to say.
Yeah,
If
I'm glad you brought that
really
up.
good at what you do,
Yeah. I said, I'm glad you brought that up about the Army. A lot of people didn't know about that part of the Army.
oh, absolutely. And that was one of the things I guess I did want to say. I didn't know.
Right.
I didn't know. I didn't know that there were special bands. And please, if you're out there, you're listening, and you're interested, there again are special bands. Audition for those special bands. If you're really good at what you do, at playing that instrument, try to get into one of those special bands. I mean, those guys in some cases work 2-3 hours a day, and then they go off and they do other jobs because they're just that talented and they perform, but they're so talented that they don't have to rehearse all day long. So it's something to consider. I just wish I had known about the special bands early on, and I wish that the guys that came around to tell me about the military bands had been I don't know, more visible. They stayed around and they made more of an impression. And they came around every now and then, but they really didn't say anything to me that made me any remotely interested. It was the military. I didn't want anything to do with it. I think a better job can be done. But anyway, the special bands, all those guys would have to do is play.
Yeah, let's talk about your
I'm sorry.
upcoming event. Let's show
All
the
right.
flyer. Your upcoming event. You've got it. Phil and Derek's.
I think that's was Phil and Derek's in Houston. That's,
it's in Houston
on the 19th.
Absolutely.
I'm also going to be in Dallas at the warehouse. I believe that's the 21st.
Yes.
And a week before that, I'm going to be in Hampton at City Park for festival there, and then I got a few other things coming up as well.
Right.
So absolutely look out for me.
Yeah. So this one that we just showed you, that's here in Houston. We're in Houston. So that's at Phil and Derek's. That's August the 19th. He will be there. And he will be later in Dallas. You'll be in Dallas, right?
Yes, Dallas later in the week, probably a couple days later.
Yeah. And so what would you like to leave with your viewers?
Hey, listen, we're about to come back out there, so just look for all of us. Look for everybody. Go out and support live music. We appreciate you guys. again, I'm passionate about this thing, and I'm sure there are others out there like me who look forward to getting back out there and playing in front of you guys and just giving all we got, just sharing our heart with you. All right, so I look forward to seeing you guys coming out.
Sounds good. I appreciate you so much, my friend, Mr. Wade Campbell. You have got to look him up on his live. Look him up on Facebook, Instagram. Check him out, his website. I mean, he's got everything you could think of, videos and everything. Purchase his music. You got to purchase some music.
Absolutely.
You got to get some down. Yes, you got. You will change your life. He has some great music out there. Thank you so much for the opportunity, my friend. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I will see you when you get here.
Cam, I want to thank you, and I want to thank your team.
Thank you so much. Veronica and Oscar, thanks so much for hooking us up. The Cam Hill Show, 12:30, 1:30 Central Standard Time. See you then. Bye.